Hello everyone, it's Andy Glenn here from Sharks TV, welcoming you all to another podcast. Another Friday night special, it's Coach's Corner, and joined as always by Martin Grubb and special guest Liam Stenton. Good evening chaps, how you doing?
Good Andy, it's been a while, and as we record this, happy birthday to number 10.
Happy birthday to Liam.
Thanks very much lads, appreciate it.
Did you get anything good for your birthday?
Just a day in a school with the school kids, so enjoyed it.
There's got to be a cake or something, surely.
Maybe when I get home, aye.
All right, well, we hope you have a fantastic day. And we'll look forward to watching you play at home because, as you say, Martin, it's been like forever, hasn't it? It's been good for the ice rink as such because there's lots of people here, but for us as Sharks fans, it feels as long as the close season.
Yeah, it's it's a really strange one because, like you say, as a facility, it's amazing for the facility. It's a recognition of the hard work of the staff, and the management, and just all three sports. We've always been very proud and fiercely proud of the success of all three sports. And truthfully, in the leagues gone by, we've got away with being on the road for so long. Whether it be a bit of luck, whether it be maybe we're just better than our opponents, whereas this time we've struggled. If you want the truth, I think we've struggled with having no ice at home anyway, and struggled to get consistent ice elsewhere, then playing on the road. Add into that the quality of the league now and the fact we're in a dogfight to secure our playoff spot. Been a difficult time, and obviously the players like routine, they like home comforts, and we were on a half decent run of form before we kind of went on the road and ended that little homestand. So yeah, it's not been ideal, but you've got these are the things that you battle through. Everybody, I mean, you look at something like Swindon earlier in the year and they had no rink, It could have been a lot worse. And as I say, ultimately it shows how popular this facility is. So you've got to respect that and be happy with that, but it maybe never went the way we wanted.
I think you make an interesting point because you say Swindon at the start of the season. Swindon at the start of the season, I have to say, from my perspective, weren't the team that they are now. They look a really, really good team just now. Liam, if I can ask you, is it being away from home at the weekends for 3 weekends in a row that's difficult, or is it the not having access to practice at your own ice? What do you think is the biggest impact?
I think they're both as impactful as each other. I mean, not training on your own ice is pretty tough, travelling to training. I think we were on the ice 3 times over the 3 weeks, so it was pretty tough having to travel, and then obviously not being on the ice for long, getting an hour and a half each time, usually compared to being on the ice 3 times a week down here. It did definitely make a big impact, and like Spud said, we couldn't have went in with a better record. Like we were really good. I think we won 7 out of the 11 from Christmas time. Yeah. Going into that little stint on the road, we couldn't ask for a kind of better form to be in, and obviously it didn't really go to plan for us. Like you said, being away from home, being on the road, obviously a lot of bus legs. I mean, you can't really make excuses because we knew it was coming, but it's always tough when you're sitting on the bus, especially with the long travel we had for them games. Obviously down Swindon and Bristol, Milton Keynes, and then Telford, and then the Bees at the weekend there. They're all pretty big travels. Staying away obviously helped without travelling back and forward in between. But yeah, it is tough when you're away from home. It's like Spud said as well, the home comforts aren't there as well. So yeah, it is much tougher when you're not at home.
Oh, well, that seems real doom and gloom stuff, doesn't it? Yeah, but we're back home. You've got practice tonight, so it's a fairly easy 4-point weekend, isn't it?
Well, you like to hope so, yeah, definitely.
I joke because look, Swindon are a cracking team just now, but Milton Keynes, we've seen them when we were away. They look a real quality team just now. What's your thoughts on these games coming up, Martin?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I think Swindon, Milton Keynes, and again, absolutely no disrespect to Leeds because the double winners are currently top of the league, etc. And Ryan's done a hell of a job there. But I really like how deep both Milton Keynes and Swindon are. I think they could be the 2 deepest teams in the league. When you look at somebody like Milton Keynes, their third line is probably other teams' second, maybe some bottom end teams' first lines, and They've got a lot of talent. They got a lot of ability. They play the right way. They've got a lot of speed. They've got a lot of skill. Tim Wallace has got them firing on all cylinders. Clearly, right now, with Ross Venus, Rory Herman, Dylan Lawrence, I think that line alone, they're all in between 80 and 90 points. Each. Two good goalies in Headley and Will Kerlin's done a great job when Heads was injured. But we beat them before. I think that's the key, right? The last time we played them here, the only time we played them here, we beat them.
Yeah.
So the first game in Milton Keynes, I think Liam got a couple that night. I thought we were good. The first period in Milton Keynes a couple of weeks ago, we were really good. I thought we outchanced them in that first period. It was, went in 1-1. We'd scored a couple of early chances and got ahead. Who knows? But I suppose the quality they have, they stepped it up second period. And I thought third period we got back into our structure and we were there with them. I'm not going to sit here with a heavy defeat and say that we should have beat them, etc. But for spells, we were competitive. We were right there. And when in this building, when we stick to our structure, when we get the noise and the fans behind us, and I guess after being on the road for so long, everybody's excited to be back. As much as Milton Keynes are a really good hockey team, we don't come in here with any fear. We have to come in here full of confidence and I wouldn't say expect 4 points, but we've got to go and try and win these 4 points.
It's one of these classics. It's a free shot. I was looking at some of the stats in preparation for the stream this weekend, and you're right. Venus and Herman are sitting 91, 90 points. Their top 8 point scorers are all forwards. I was saying to you before we came on air, Liam, their goalkeepers are sitting at 91%, and they're just looking. It's the depth of the points that tells the story. But we've beaten them, hey? That's the thing you've got to keep remembering. And it was one of the best games that we've seen here at the Shark Tank. There's going to be nearly 1,000 people here, both Saturday and Sunday, isn't there?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, you've seen on the social media the ticket sales have went right through the roof, and there's not that many left. So if you've not got your tickets yet, make sure you get online and get them. But yeah, it's always a lot funner playing in front of a big crowd. Obviously, the noise helps us boys as well on the ice. It's like an extra guy out there. Yeah, obviously pushes you on a little bit more as well when you hear your name in the chants, or you hear the team's name, and definitely pushes you on and gives you that extra little bit to get going.
Absolutely, it's going to be a great weekend for those of you who are thinking about coming along. As Liam says, hardly any seats left. I think there's about 70 seats left. The last I saw. It's the Valentine's Day special as well, so you've got those shirts behind it going to be auctioned off afterwards, and then on Sunday there's a band as well. I believe it's the Foo Fighters. I've never heard of it.
Must be pretty good, aye.
Yeah, pretty good. It's going to be a fantastic weekend, so come along, please do. Having a look back over the last few games, what's been you said already, Martin, that the second period against Milton Keynes was a highlight. What have been some of the key learning points from the last few weeks away?
Yeah, I mean, I think in advance I'll apologise to our loyal viewers at this stage. Normally we would have brought the video out and probably done a wee bit of that, but I think there was just so much to cram in that it was probably easier to just verbalise things here. But, each game was different. I think that we went to Swindon and we just never started. As Liam says, that long travel bus legs was probably the first one that you could say, do you know what, we did start slow. We did look like we had sat in a bus for 7.5 hours. And again, I agree, we don't want to make the excuses, we don't want to be that team, but when you let a team who are as hot as Swindon were, especially at that stage, get ahead, it's difficult. We held on, we got a goal back. I think it was 3-1 at that stage, and we were really pushing. Thought we started to look like our old selves, and then we gave up a couple of soft, quick goals.
Aaron Nell said it at that point as well. He said at 3-1, it was game on. But they've got Nell and Malazinski, and they really put us to the sword fairly quickly after that, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest problem for us in that game was that every time, we've discussed it before on here, that it seemed that every time we made a mistake, they scored. And some of the goals, as a coach, I guess even as players, some of them were just a bit too soft for our liking as a team. You know, our standards were better than that. And it was one of the nights that the players gave everything they had. Like, obviously we went there, we still, even in the second period, we were down, but we still talked about trying to claw our way back in. You know, we had been in a game just before Christmas with them where I think we were 6-1 down, come back to 6-6. They went 7-6, 7-7. So we kind of held on to that we've been in worse positions. We've done it with the Steel Dogs that time where we were really heavily down. But credit to Aaron and his team, you know, they managed that game really well. They were on a really good run of form. And I thought we struggled to just get that done that night. That's being said, I think the biggest game of that weekend, the two games, was always going to be the Bristol game, where that was one where you needed to get the 2 points. Again, with no disrespect to Bristol, they were below us. They, you know, I guess our thoughts was if we can get 2 points in the last game of the series we had between them, we would win the series. We could kind of almost forget about them. They were underneath us. They had no chance to at least pick up points against us. Mm-hmm. That one, I think it helped. We scored in the first shift, 10 seconds in.
10 second goal. And they had the boy VC missing as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair to VC, he's been a bit of a thorn on our side. He knows how to score goals. So, you know, that helped. I suppose it helps us. But we knew we just had to bounce back. We discussed after the Swindon game just about showing our character and obviously playing for our pride of our club and our supporters. And the players did that. We knew it was never going to be like a pretty game. Never is against them. But, you know, we got the job done. Like the players deserve credit and making sure they found a way when there was a bit of pushback from for Bristol, and I think we run into a wee bit of penalty trouble. And before, we keep going back to this. Before, maybe 4 or 5 weeks earlier than that, we would have got beat. We would have folded. But to make that a relatively successful weekend, that first one, it had to be at least 2 points. And say credit to the players, they got that one done. And it's never easy when you have to go long travel, hotel room. You know, and it's credit to the club because they make sure we've got the executive coaches to travel, and the hotel was nice, and we've done that deal with Bristol. The food was there, so we made it as comfortable and as professional as we could for the players. But it's still not the same as practicing at home, sleeping in your own bed, having your own routine. So we found a way, and that was the main thing. Say the players deserve the credit for that because they executed what we needed on the Sunday, and weekend one was then done with 2 points.
That was the first weekend they had the watch parties in the rink here. Were you guys aware that we were doing that at all?
Yeah, I seen it all over the social media, to be fair. I was well aware it was happening. My girlfriend's mum and dad came down as well. I think my mum was here for a bit as well. So I heard it was a good turnout, and it went pretty successfully as well. Yeah,
it was a good 70 odd folk shouting on the Sharks. Maybe the first game was a bit tough at times, but you know what? People appreciated it, and I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that there was still a good load of fans back here in Dumfries shouting on you guys when you're down there, and we appreciate that. As you say, Martin, players are never going to give up. They're knocking their pans in continually, and just like us as fans, we're not going to give up either. So we're 100% behind you. Your thoughts on that weekend, Liam?
Like Martin said, we kind of went into that needing at least 2 points. Obviously, we want the 4 every time we play. Every time we play, we want to win a game. Sure. But yeah, we were going in there looking for 4, needing 2. That's kind of how we looked at it. Obviously, the Swindon game went how it went. It was like Spud said. It was there was some goals that were probably too soft on our half. But yeah, they're a good team. They've got some clinical players, and when they get the chances, they take them.
I don't. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but I see the likes of Swindon and Milton Keynes and Leeds and all the rest of it, knowing that they have to be on their game against us. I think earlier in the season it was we just need to rock up here and play our average game and we'll win. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like folk are playing their A game against us all the time now because they have to.
Yeah, I think it was probably natural for them. Early in the season, there was a little bit of an unknown. There was probably that little bit of they know they're good teams because they are. we're a lot of guys that's been well documented in the last few weeks that, pretty much the whole of our team had never played in this league. They'd either played above or kind of below the level. So, yeah, they may have come in and thought that it was certainly going to be an easier night than it maybe was for them. But I think it tells you everything you need to know about the league and the respect between all of the teams, that no matter where we go now, within half a season of our first season in the league, people are showing us the respect we deserve. And whether it be interviews after the game to the performances themselves, now we as a team and certainly our players on the ice have proved that we can beat anybody and they're a match for anybody. So it's actually, in a strange way, it's nice to see these teams giving us the respect rather than just feeling that we turn up and they get 2 points. We now need to match that though, because I think that certainly in that Swindon one especially, we've seen a couple of closer games here, but I think I felt that they stepped up a wee bit and we maybe just weren't quite ready for that level. Yeah. But yeah, like you say, whether it be Leeds, Milton Keynes, Swindon, they're good hockey teams, so we need to just aspire to be as good as that top three and as consistent as possible.
I think the reason I said it was that Aaron Nell interview where he said it 3-1. This was very much game on, and I think previously they thought, well, a 2-goal lead, we'll just see this out. They needed to put the foot down, and fair play to them, they did it. Let's move forward to the next weekend. I'll let Liam, you can go first and talk us through that weekend. You're trying to remember who games it was, wasn't it?
Was that Milton Keynes Telford that weekend?
It was Milton Keynes, then Telford.
Yeah, so...
And then Bees last week.
So Milton Keynes
first.
Like Spud touched on it at the start, actually, the first period we were good. Came out flying. Like Spud said it as well, we outchanced them in that first period. We were all guns blazing, we were going for it. And came in after the first 1-1. I think we maybe got a bit too high. Like we were a bit too confident, I think, and almost kind of thought like we're in a game here. Didn't realise that they've got another gear to go.
Right.
They came out, pushed straight away, and kind of put the game to bed in the second period. Obviously, we tried to push back in the third. We got back to our systems a little bit more. We were playing a lot more as a team, but it just wasn't enough because, like you both said, they're a solid team. They've got so much depth. It's hard to claw your way back. But yeah, obviously after that first period, we came in, like I said, a bit too high, probably too confident going back out into that second period, and they turned it up a gear and we couldn't match it.
And they had Venus missing for that game as well.
Yeah, they did also.
So I can understand where you're thinking, oh, we've got a chance.
Yeah, big point scorer for them. He's a good player. He's obviously played a lot of years in the elite league as well. So yeah, he's smart, knows how to play in them situations, and it's maybe not we don't really look at individual players on a team. We look at the team as a whole, and like Spud said, they've got so much depth. It's tough to match constantly with them. Like we said, the first period was good, second period wasn't great, and then the third period we kind of got back to our game. Then obviously the second night down in Telford, it was a close one. Can't remember the scores end of every period, but we were pretty confident that whole game. Obviously dealing with a bit of adversity through that game, going into that third period, and then we came to the overtime and we just couldn't quite get the deal done in the overtime period, like we've seen many times, home and away. But then penalty shots, Curtis stood in his head for us. Younger obviously stepped up at the start, put that goal away. And then it was kind of a battle of who's going to score next when it got to the sudden death, and obviously they did, and that was it.
I didn't buy the stream for the Telford game, but I was watching on social media, and it is the worst way to watch hockey, watching things come through on Twitter about, especially when it comes to penalty shots. My head was in my hands at times. They were jumping. Oh, just. Martin, you any thoughts on those games, or do you want to move forward into last week's game against the Bees?
It's really similar. I think we discussed the Milton Keynes game.
Yep.
Telford was tough. Like Tommy's got a team there that they've been together a long time. They know how to play. But there was through no fault of anybody, there was a lot hanging about that day. Obviously, when you're staying there and you get up and you're out your hotel, and then you got to, by the time you go and you get some food, and then there's a couple of hours to kill, and I just don't think that was ideal for us. But again, there's nothing you can do with that. And like you say, we get to, we got in at the end of the second period. There was adversity to deal with. Unfortunately, and it's a shout out to Ross Murray, because Ross had to take his kit off and coach that third period, and I thought he'd done a great job, third period and overtime and shootout, which I knew he would, but as a team, as a group, it was far from ideal. But we scored the two quick goals. We got ourselves in a lead. Unfortunately, obviously never held on to that, but we never got anything from Telford before. We picked up a point.
Yeah,
I thought we dominated overtime. I think I had one chance, but we had 3 or 4. Fairly, our goalie made a couple of unbelievable saves. We've seen it before. You kind of put that, it was Peaks Dunny and Arce normally. You put that out, we win a game. They had chances. Gargi had a chance. I thought we were really unlucky in overtime, and then when Younger stepped up, and it was a really, really, really tidy finish. You kind of think, right, Curtis has shut the door. Well, we just need that one. But it was a battle of the goalies, battle of a wee bit of luck, and going back, it kind of goes back to what Liam said earlier of, we Milton Keynes Telford, we wanted 4. We kind of said we needed 2. Unfortunately, we only got 1, but that one was certainly better than none. And on another night, I think that we would have took the win there. But it's a team again just above us that I personally think that we've got enough in our room to beat them. But we moved on for that, and then it was on to the Bees. For me, that's probably the biggest disappointment of the games on the road, because we've seen them before, right? So they got European imports, a couple of European imports who play a very European way. We've been known for that, going back to Pav and Uri and Gaps. That they're opportunists. They suck you in, and they're opportunists. And I don't think we played our best game, but we just, again, for me, obviously I was watching it from a completely different angle this time and could see a lot more. And we were the masters of our own downfall. We every goal, I think, we had the puck on our stick, and that was my frustration. Again, not through the players' lack of effort and lack of obviously attempting to execute what they were asked to do. And we got ourselves back into it, and then I think we went up, and it just became. I think it was that small tight rink. I'm not sure it suits us. I think we're a skating team. We like to skate. But that one was just a bit disappointing. Obviously, let's be honest, we all know is whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, whether you're a supporter of this team, we knew the significance of the points and the battle we're in, and thought that was a big game for us, and it certainly was not for the want of trying to win it. It's not one of them where we've went and underestimated an opponent or they've totally outclassed us. They've just been opportunists, and that probably hurts us a little bit more, that breathes life into them, where we could have just stretched a little bit away for them. But again, learning, right? It's a learning experience. We always say that we got to take what we need for that and bring it into this weekend and going forward. And I think if anybody was in any doubt, I've preached it every time we're on here, and I know people are certainly not silly when it comes to that. You just need to look at the table, but if people didn't realise we're in a dogfight for a playoff spot before that, certainly realise now, because from top to bottom of the organisation and supporters, we need to give everything we've got now. We're the Bees, the Raiders, even the Steel Dogs picked up result here and there. Nobody's going to give up. Telford are still looking over their shoulder and thinking, well, if these guys go on a run. So it's that's probably the disappointing part. We needed the 2 points, and I know the players were disappointed. As coaching staff were disappointed, but we just need to find a way now. We've got to play them again. Here, I think we'll go there once more as well. We've got to find a way to win both the games. Be the same with the Raiders. It's now looking at realistically who we've got to play, and having obviously your ultimate target is win every single game between now and the end of the year. Realistically, we know that probably no team's going to do that, so we need a realistic target of what makes us a playoffs team. It doesn't matter whether we get an 8th or whether we end up in 4th, for argument's sake. We need to be in the playoffs, and the players want that. We want that as staff. I know the fans want that. It's now, I think the Bees showed us it's now just a way of, we need to find a way to get that done.
Yeah, I mean, it is an absolute dogfight now. This is the business end of the season. It does look on paper like it's 2 from 3, but as you say, the Sheffield are playing okay just now by the looks of things, and Telford aren't that far in front. Liam, from your perspective?
Yeah, kind of the same as Martin. Like, it's we want to win every game we've got in front of us. There's no doubt about that. Every time we come in this building's away, we go in there wanting 2 points. Whether that happens is kind of like Martin says. Sometimes it's down to our own destiny, where we potentially not throw the game away, but we put it on a plate for them and let them take it to us. But yeah, every game we go into, we want to win. I think we need to try and at least get 500, be above that 50%. And we don't want it to be in other teams' hands. Like, we want this to be in our hands. We want to get the wins early on, as early as we can, and be in a kind of secure spot by the end of the season.
Do you reckon 500 gets us into playoffs?
Depending on the results, I've not quite done the maths on it, but I think it will get us there or thereabouts. But like I said, we want to win every game we can.
Well, we start with a real tough weekend here in Dumfries, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be an exciting weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, we'll go back to what we said at the beginning, right? We beat them the last time we were here. They beat us, and they beat us handsomely the last time we played them there. So, you know, we've got something to prove. They've got something to prove in terms of they can travel and play here, but it's 2 teams. It's one versus the other. You know, it's 6 guys on the ice at a time against each other. I know, looking online and the chatter out there is the place is going to be jumping. The players need that. You know, we need that. We're excited to get back home, and you know, ultimately, why would you not want to test yourself against one of the top teams? We talk about dogfights and playoffs and trying to get there. You know, ultimately, you got to beat these teams. If you want success, you have to beat anybody that's in front of you. And we now need to just take one period at a time, one game at a time. Put that one foot in front of the other and forget. You know, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have some good shifts. Forget the bad. Just focus solely on being a positive group here. Everybody has to realise that they all have a part to play in this. Whether you block a shot, whether you score a big goal, whether you make a big save, it's a good pass. That's endless, the list. But whether there's some guys who, unfortunately for them, at times maybe don't play as much as they'd like. We still need everybody here. Our dressing room is still as together as it has been since day one. We're still as as aligned with the supporters as we've always been, because we've all got the same common goal. But now, starting with a really mouth-watering weekend, we've got a chance to send some shockwaves through the league, and what better way to do that than start with a 4-point weekend?
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, you're talking about dogfights and all the rest of it. No, we know the other teams are going to be looking at it the same and all the rest of it. But is this not what we wanted? You know, this time last year, we probably had the league sewn up. This is what it's all about. It's just sport. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you always want a competitive game. I mean, like Spud said, it's just 2 teams fighting against each other for them 2 points every night. And whether one team's better than the other is going to be the winning team. But that can be any team on any given night. So whether it's us or it's Milton Keynes, it's going to be a good show no matter what.
Right. You must have been ready for the message to the fans. I'm looking at you directly, Liam, because Martin just said everybody's got their part to play, be it blocking shots, saving shots, scoring goals, assists, the whole shooting match. What do you need as a player from our fans on Saturday and Sunday?
As much consistent noise as possible. I mean, you guys in the stands, you've been great all year, but we need you this weekend as much as we need you for the rest of the season. But this weekend is going to be a good turning point for us. Obviously, we got the 8-4-4 record a couple of weeks ago before we went on the road, so let's keep building on that and get as many people here as you can.
Martin?
I'm going to go a bit different here, and again, thanks for having our back when we've been on the road. The watch parties, as Liam said earlier, you know, we do watch and we do see what's going on there, and we massively appreciate that. But we need you now to trust us as well. We need you to stick with us, and you've done an unbelievable job so far. I kept saying trust the process before, and you did. Now we need to realise there's 14 games left. Now they disappear really quickly, and we are in a dogfight. Some games might not be our fight. The ones that we need to win, we will win. And everyone else will pick up in between. But we just need this whole club, for the stands, to the ice, to the bench, to the ownership, to be aligned now with the same common goal. I know you guys as supporters want it. I know our players want it. So let's just stick together now, starting Saturday, and show them that this team's going to go all the way to the playoffs.
Fantastic. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you both this afternoon. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you on the podcast. This is Andy Glenn saying cheerio.